Getting to 20,000 monthly listeners and staying there is not just a number. It's a game changer in how you're perceived in the music world. It's about social equity, respect, and opening doors. And in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how I got there and how you can too. And don't worry, it's not gonna be me just telling you to post more content, because we all know we should do more of that, but real world strategies that I've used over the course of 2 years to get to a stable 20,000 monthly listeners. I'm gonna get right into this, but I'm gonna take you guys along for the ride because I got stuff to do today. By the way, if you're new here, my name's Hubble. I'm an independent artist based out of Charlotte, North Carolina. The reason I'm making this video and working on this channel is because I wish there would have been more artists I saw on their rise that just pulled the curtain back, didn't gatekeep, and showed me exactly what they were doing. And I just want to show the world that anything's possible if you set your mind to something and you put the work ethic behind it. I want to talk about the importance of setting realistic milestones for your music and treating your music like a business. You know, if you want other people to take you seriously, you got to take yourself seriously. Right, Mark?
What's up, dude?
Got to take yourself seriously. It's one thing to say you're going to do 1 million streams, make $1 million, or anything in between. It's another thing to actually map out a plan of how to get there and set milestones that you can actually achieve along the way to measure your progress. That's what we're going to talk about. As someone that's a professional music maker, legitimate, why does someone need to treat their music like a business?
I think the main thing is most people get into music and they think that if you try to make money off of music, somehow you're a poser. And there's like this mentality that, oh, you're not into it for genuine reasons. But what I had noticed within like the past 10 years, like when I turned 20, I was living in New York. It was super expensive to drum and like MD for a bunch of artists. I ended up leaving because I was like, oh, it's too expensive to live here and I still have all the same opportunities. A lot of people that were like really insecure were like, you know, dude, you're just trying to make money from this, whatever. And I was like, I'm trying to build a career so I can do this forever. And what ended up happening a couple years down the line, they ended up hitting me up, and lo and behold, they're working at Starbucks. And here I was like working on bigger records or whatever. And it's because I always treated it like a business that I'm going to be able to do this forever. So there's a direct correlation for how much time you spend on the business portion, so you can still spend time on the music portion later in life, or else you're gonna have to cut it off. So I think a lot of people just don't really think about the longevity of staying active within the music industry for a long period of time.
What Mark is saying is that a lot of people are waiting for this golden ticket moment, this huge moment in their life to just befall upon them. And oftentimes those things don't happen. And what's most important is that if those things do happen and you haven't treated your music like a business, you're not going to be able to capitalize on that moment. With that being said, we'll see you in the next scene. Did some meetings, met some people, grabbed some groceries. Time to get into business and teach you guys how to get to 20K monthly listeners consistently.
The cool thing too, that's where the
bra is to support the titties. Who's the titties? And I was like, Sax's titties, Ron. And he was like, that's right, up from the top. So, titties in this is the guitar and vocals.
It's the end of the day. I ended up cooking up with Mark all day, and I'm here to bring you the first strategy that you can start doing to get to 20,000 monthly listeners and stay there. When it comes to setting realistic milestones, it's important that we set them around things that we have 100% control over. We can't necessarily control how many listeners we're gonna get or how much money we're gonna make each month. What we can control as an artist is how much music that we're releasing. Over the past 2 years, I made it my main milestone to release music every single month, at least 2 songs a month. Now, when I set that goal, I thought that would be something that'd be easy to do. It turns out sometimes you just don't feel like making music. You can't think of anything to write. You might need other people to help you make the music. Some days you'll be able to make 3 songs. Some weeks you'll be able to make nothing that you feel good about. So how do you work around that to stay consistent? Something that I did that I really think helped me to start growing consistently and release consistent music was to take my songs that I'd already written and just swap the beats out. Make an acoustic version, release an EDM style remix. And what I found is by switching out and trying different genres with the same vocals that I've used on other songs, I've actually reached new audience and brought people back into my world that became fans of my other styles of music. I think the reason more artists don't think to do this is because we all think we're supposed to have this polished image, this cohesive sound, this one genre, one thing that we're doing. If you're someone watching this video right now that doesn't have consistent listenership, you're not locked into the genre that you think that you might be. Now that we've talked about strategies strategies for getting consistent releases, I want to talk about the Trojan horse strategy that I've used that I think has had the biggest impact on my Spotify and Apple Music numbers growing. And it's something that I think a lot of artists kind of feel like they're a little too cool for sometimes. It's running paid ads. Yeah, paid ads, paying for people to click and listen to your music. And not only did this benefit my monthly listenership, my streams, and my income from my music, I also learned a ton about the people that were listening to my music. Now, you don't have to run your entire life savings in paid ads, but I genuinely believe that every artist out there should be running $1 to $3 a day to all their new releases for at least 60 to 90 days after the release. Why 60 to 90 days? Well, it's because if you don't have a ton of listenership already on these platforms, you need to constantly get some new traffic into that song each and every day. So even with $1 to $3, even if it's just a handful of people a day, you're constantly sending new traffic into those songs. And what I've noticed is that if you do this for 60 to 90 days, you'll find that the Spotify algorithmic playlists start to really pick up your music. I'll show you some of the charts here for some of my top performing songs that I've been running ads to, and you'll notice that they consistently started to grow more and more and more the longer that I ran paid ads on them. It might seem like a long time or a lot of money, but if you really think about it, it's just between $60 to $270 spread across 2 to 3 months. And I think that any artist that's really serious about making music their career can justify investing that amount of money into their product. And to touch on the other point I brought up, I've learned a ton about my audience and who likes my music. And not just who likes my music, but who likes my music in different parts of the world. I found that some of my EDM style songs do really well in Asia. I found that some of my rap and pop type songs do really well here in the US. That's allowed me to sculpt and shape my paid ad strategy, the areas that I target with different songs, and more than anything, it gives me insights from my actual listeners of what type of music they want to hear more of. All right, guys, for this last one, I want to get nice, close, and personal because I think it's the most important. And even though it's really common and lots of people say this, I feel like they don't give enough direction on how to actually do this effectively. And it's going to be co-releases and collaborations. I feel like a lot of people think that when you do a feature or a co-release that you're going to just convert a ton of new listeners to your Spotify or Apple Music or your social media. And that can be true, but only if it's a true collaboration. To me, a real collaboration is when someone gets in the room with you, you co-write, you work on the song together, you come up with content, you promote each other across social media, and you really try to show to one another's audience that you're excited about the release that's at hand. Don't blow a ton of money paying for features or think that just doing a co-release with someone is going to change the path of your career. After all, you're creating a brand for yourself, and you don't want to tarnish that by making it look like you'll just work with anyone. All right, guys, so those are the main principles, strategies, whatever you want to call them, that I've used to go from 0 listeners to 20,000 monthly listeners and stay there consistently. And even though I said earlier not to attach your success directly to numbers, I can't lie that it does feel good to achieve some level of stability and listenership with my music. There's no better feeling than putting your music out and knowing that a certain amount of people are definitely going to listen to it, that you have real fans. More than anything, I want to remind you what I said at the beginning, which is to treat your music like a business. Take yourself seriously. Now, maybe I don't know you one-to-one yet, but I do know that if you're someone else out there like me that's putting music out into the world, taking your ideas and turning them into something that you can share with people, be vulnerable about, it means that you have a message to share, and it deserves to be heard. And so I hope that you can use some of these strategies to help grow your monthly listenership, whether you're at 0 or whether you're even past 20,000 monthly listeners. I hope something I said is unique or a different way of thinking about something that you can apply to your own artist journey. I know I'm going to keep working on these strategies. I'm going to keep sharing what's working for me. And more than anything, I just want to document this journey in real time. I don't want to just tell the story once I've made it someday. I want everyone to come along with me because I think that there's enough room for everyone at the top and we can all get there together. So make sure you hit subscribe. Let me know what you like and don't like, what you want to hear more of, and we'll cover it next.